This presidential lecture series is the college's way of bringing highly accomplished men and women from several professions, artists, people who are in the political life, people who are in science, in the sciences, people who are in the humanities, writers. Some of you may recognize me from in 2 different areas. Some of you may know me as the Provost and Senior Vice President here, but some of you may also know me as a novelist, because I've come to speak to you about my own work as a writer. So this series brings together accomplished men and women, as I said, and I will soon be introducing our speaker. But before I do that, I wanted to just speak generally about this series. In presenting these lecture series, the college is reaffirming its commitment that it has had to excellence and to the transformative powers of education. There is something unique about the college that you're in. It is the only college in the city university whose mission and goals were set by community residents, people who were educators outside of the institution, and who got together to design the mission and the goals of this college. So we are unique in many ways. You are fortunate to be here. I am fortunate to be here, as this is, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, the premier institution in the City University of New York.
Well, I'm just going to speak a little bit about, just touching on a few things, sort of what Dr. Nunez was talking about as far as the purpose of this lecture series, and just to reflect on the fact that it started as a freshman year program event, and over time, what it did, it just basically expanded into a college-wide event. And like Dr. Nunez was saying, it's our opportunity to bring all types of individuals who excel in their fields to come here to actually share some words with you, and hopefully you can gain some knowledge and gain some elements that you can implement into your life and use that to put yourselves on the next level. That's what the college experience is about, and that's what Medgar Evers College is about. So I just want you to sit back, open up your ears, open up your minds, take time to take it in, and enjoy.
Tar baby, you are my bastard. I'm sorry I lack the means to repave the potholes in your smile. Just be grateful your teeth don't resemble asphalt. I have no land for us, but you cannot steal from God like that. Tickle soiled feet until you liberate earth you've been holding captive between toes. When you laugh, air quakes. Paper-thin buildings of depravity crumble. Dust settles on our tongue. We savor the rubble. I have never seen such a beautiful wreckage. Chunks of gray and steel and bone. A withering womb embroidered with purple veins and a red temper simmering on the underbelly of our cardboard box that has a tendency to give way under cursing winds of New York City, where men don't know how to love in the same place they lust. Remember the first time you meditate in the gut of the projects. How favored you feel. Declaring God builds dirty brick castles for brown people with eyes of sleeping corpses, ornamented with windows that spit catcalls you love. The crumbling gold smiles of these creatures, grenade in their walk, terrorist threats in their eyes. These projects are only an experiment to see how many more niggas can be stacked like Legos. They're always trying to get us a bit more close to God. Never forget the other side of the sea. Always remember your desert, your Sahara, silent and dry. The meek have already inherited the earth next time. Don't offer it up so easily. Never again believe your black velvet suit of skin was only given to you in anticipation of an early funeral. Stop picking pieces of broken halos from your feet. Putting them together will not reverse your fall from grace, just leave you with bloody palms and scarred fingertips. Poverty is expensive. Lifestyle out of my budget where dirty water costs more than gas, and never will I sell your grade of stink and sweat for a meal. They will tell us our lives are as useful as a one-way door into a burning house. Say your clay hands will only more blasphemy out of an existence thieved away from God. Don't waste wandering pennies on white flags. Surrendering will never make us good enough for this earth. All I have for you are these rusty, dim-lit stars with backs of old women bowing to time. They will teach you how to be the last grain of sand clawing to the edge of the hourglass, show you how to steal away a forever while you learn your worth.
I want to begin with a quotation, and this is a quotation that our speaker that we have today, Mrs. Roslyn M Brock, has embraced as a quotation from an African proverb that guides her life. And I'm going to say it slowly so that you can understand the meaning of that proverb and see when she speaks how that is connected to her life. It goes, care more about others, care more than others think wise. You understand? Care more than others think wise. In your head? Okay, the second one is risk more than others think safe. The next one, dream more than others think practical. And the last one, expect more than others think possible. These are the words that guide the life and work of our speaker. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to our distinguished speaker this morning, Mrs. Brock.
Thank you. I thank you so much. But I'm really happy to Dr. Edison Jackson, in his absence, to acknowledge this exciting presidential lecture series, and am privileged to have the opportunity to be with you just for a few minutes. March is Women's History Month, and it's a time when we celebrate the accomplishments of women, particularly women across this nation who has transformed and changed the world. So just for a few minutes, I want to share with you and talk to you about some traits of powerful women who have changed this world. But before I do, I'm joined today by a host of women who have truly been the wind beneath my wings and who have walked with me and helped me to transform on my journey. And I'd like them to stand. They're seated on the first row. I want you to see the women who have mentored me and helped me become who I am. But the ladies from the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, please stand. Turn around so the young people can see you. Give them some love. That's right, brother. Give them some love. I think it's so important, young men and young women, that you have people with whom you can turn and you can look to. These women, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women, and several others, particularly the widow of your founder, of the founder for which your college was named, Medgar Evers, Merle Evers Williams, is an instrumental mentor on my civil rights journey. But for these women who showed me the way and the ways not to go, whose strength and compassion held up a light and beckoned me to follow, these women who you see before you showed me who I am and who I am not. Their love, their encouragement, and their confidence held me tenderly and nudged me gently. These women, whose grace, success, and gratitude lifted me through some of my darkest hours, but most importantly, these women that you see before you taught me the meaning of love in both darkness and in light. And then sometimes on our journey, we're so quick and so busy doing other things that we often fail to stop and say thank you to the women and the men on our journey. But there's some things that I want to leave with you. And I hope that I am modeling the things that you will take from this place and that you will incorporate in your own journey. As I've stated, Women's History Month is an opportunity for us to celebrate all that is woman and all the partners, friends, and sisters who have helped us. I had the pleasure last week on Wednesday, was invited by President Obama to attend the White House signing of the executive order for the creation of a Council on Women and Girls. This council will be headed by folks throughout the administration who will determine and establish policies that particularly look at how this nation treats its women and its girls. It's particularly interesting that the 2009 theme for the Women's History Month is Women and Men United to End Violence Against Women and Girls. Can you think about an incident that's been in our media lately? Chris and Rihanna. Now, some of you may have experienced or are experiencing the same kind of mental and physical abuse that Rihanna experienced. Someone said, no way. But, ladies, seriously, I want you to turn to your neighbor, and men, look at the woman next to you and say, are you Rihanna? Turn to the other side and say, are you Rihanna? You say that jokingly, and I hear the laughter in the room. But folks, if we're real about it, if we are real about it, women and girls are abused every 7 seconds in this country. Not only physically, but mentally. Now, if you're going to be honest, and let me see, do I have some honest folks in the room? How many have been physically abused? Thank you, sisters. Thank you, sisters. Because you understand what it means when somebody does not believe you are all who God made you to be. Now, there are some women who raised their hand, and there were some of us who were afraid to raise our hands. And we want to laugh it off like it's funny. It's a serious matter. And we need to understand, men and women, how we need to get along. President Barack Obama, in his first interview, did an interview on an Arab network. And what he talked about were 3 things. And those 3 things is what we need to do in terms of relationship building. One was that we need to have mutual respect for each other. Do you respect the person sitting next to you? Sometimes. The other thing is that we have to have understanding, shared understanding about our different values. It's okay to be different and not to share common values. But the third thing was we need to listen to one another. Not just hear, but clearly listen to what each other is saying. The sad part of the reality is, for women, and many of you who are women of color in this room, too many of you are dying early of HIV and AIDS, going to prison, and making poor life choices in your personal relationships. Some of you may have become teen mothers. Are there any in the room? I salute you today because you are here pursuing your education, and you didn't give up. But too many black women in our nation are unemployed and underemployed, living below the poverty line, and they're dying disproportionately from heart disease, stroke, cancer, and diabetes. And women broadly in this country make 75 cents on the dollar to what men make. And when you look at that as it relates to poverty in our nation, it's staggering. When we have low dropout rate from college, we can't find the job, and there's rising crime and violence in our homes and in our neighborhoods. This is an opportunity for us on these grounds of Medgar College to hone our leadership skills and to be all that we can be. There's 7 things, and then I'm finished, that I want you to consider. Anybody got some paper? We're going to run through it real quick, and then I want to have a conversation with you, and let's talk about it. To the ladies and the men, these are leadership skills that I have learned over the last almost 25 years of serving in a nonprofit organization, a civil rights organization, the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization, the NAACP. How many of you are members? I got 2. 2. Out here. This is the future. How many of you are members of the NAACP? Do we have a Youth and College Division chapter here? Mr. Jenkins? Okay, well, let's hope that the next time we come, we'll have a Youth and College Division chapter. But if you got your paper and pen out very quickly, these are some 7 things that I want you to consider as you develop your leadership toolkit. And throughout the rest of this week, I want each of you to remember one thing and talk about it in your class. Is that an agreement with we can have? Okay. The first thing, young people, if you want to be a leader, you must develop goals. Develop your goals. But when you develop those goals, begin with the end in mind. Don't start at the beginning, because your life circumstances can be so jacked up that you don't know where you can go from here. President Obama said, "Yes, I can," and talked about the audacity of hope because he believed in impossible dreams. I want you to develop a goal, but start way, way, way down the road, and then tell me, what do you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? The second thing I want you to do is to develop your communication skills. Develop your communication skills. I'm tired of hearing young people saying, you know, every other word, or using expletives because they're not intelligent enough to use the King's English. Hone your communication skills and be able to communicate effectively. It's okay when you're in the neighborhood and you're talking to your friends, be real. Don't front and don't hate. But in the appropriate situations, you need to know how to shift your game. And that when you come into Medgar College and you're speaking to your professors, you know how to make a verb and a subject conjugate. You need to know how to put it together. Now, when you're at home with your sisters and your homies and your girlfriends, you can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. Thought somebody would understand that. The third thing is that I want you to develop confidence. But not only to develop confidence, but I want you to exhibit competence. That's 2 C's, C squared. Develop confidence and exhibit competence. Now, when you walk in the room, somebody should know that you have entered. Not because your pants are below your butthole, or that your chest is out for me to see, or that it's 1 size too small or 4 sizes too big. But when you walk into a room, somebody should be able to ask the question, well, who is that? Who just entered into this space? You have to find out what your strengths are and be willing to overcome your weaknesses. But most importantly, young people, you've got to remember to hold on to your values. But as you do that, and as you matriculate here at Medgar Evers College, don't be afraid to take risk. Take risk. But I want you to take the kind of risks that are calculated risk. Don't do nothing crazy, but be willing to push the envelope a little bit. Because oftentimes your failures may turn into your best success. Think about Donnie McClurkin's song when he says, what? We fall down, but we get up. How many has had a falling down situation, but you got a testimony that you were able to get up? Somebody in here know what I'm talking about. Because tuition is due, right? Hello? Tuition is paid for everybody? You got it. All right. Fourth thing, very quickly, I made a promise to you. I need you to learn how to negotiate and to gain conflict resolution skills. Too many of us are lashing out like Chris did against Rihanna. Or we can't find a way, as Rodney King said, can we just get along? And we're quickly going to get a shotgun or a knife to settle our differences. You've got to learn how to negotiate life's difficult circumstances. Because sisters and brothers, there are 4 people in your life that you're going to come in contact with before you leave this earth. There are people who will move towards you. Those people want to get to know you. They want to have a relationship, not intimate. They want to have a friendship with you. Those people are good people because they share your common values. There are people who will move against you. Be careful about those people who move against you. Those are the easy ones to determine, right? Those people who move towards you with a smile, and then those people who hating on you. But then there are those people that you will come in contact with in your life who will move against you. So they move towards you, move against you, and the third thing is that they move with you. All of you are freshmen in this room? How many of the freshmen are here? How many are sophomores who are here? Now, how many started as freshmen and are still are sophomores? I asked that question because you've got some friends who started with you as a freshman, and they may still be with you, moving with you when you're a sophomore. They're your friends. They hang with you. They want to be with you. The most dangerous people are the fourth kind of people, the people who will move around you and behind you. Those are the ones that you don't see coming. Those are your best girlfriends who take your boyfriend. Or the brother who slaps you and you don't know what happened. Or somebody who drops a dime on you in the worst kind of situation. Or someone who, like the young people that we've seen on the TV, they send those naked pictures over the sex texting, and then they send it all around the world. The people who stab you in your back, who move around you and behind you. Those are the most difficult kind of people. Now tell me real quick, what are those 4 people? The ones who do what? Towards you. Second? Against you. Third? And the fourth one is the most dangerous ones. There you go. Fifth thing, take time to be a mentor and to be mentored. How many of you have a mentor? We need a mentor. We got a mentoring program here, right? More of you need mentors. And understand that the mentor that you have today may not be the mentor that stays with you by the time you graduate, and you will graduate. Keep that in mind. But you have to have somebody that's a sounding board, because oftentimes you just can't figure it out. My greatest success has been because I've had mentors, good women who are around me, women and men who were on my journey. Sixth thing, because I promised I was going to get you out of here, you need to develop your networking skills. Spend time talking to people and have people that you have that know what you're doing. That's the sixth thing. Networking, no, a mentor is the fifth thing. The sixth thing is I want you to develop your networking skills. And I want you to align yourself with people who think like you. But also you need to have some folk in there who you don't believe anything that they say. It's good because it helps you develop your critical thinking skills. And you're able then to say what you believe. This is what I believe. I like you as a friend, but I don't share your values. You can still hang with me, but you can't be with me. You got it? You need some people. The problem in our society is that too many people hang out with people who are just like them, small people who won't allow them to grow. You need to have some people who pull you and stretch you. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need to find yourself a new group. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because if you have no one who will stretch you or cause you to want to do more, and you want to be competitive and have more, then all of y'all hanging at the bottom of the barrel. So check your friends. If you the smartest cookie in the bunch, find you a new group. Last thing, young people, 7, I want you, each of you, to find your voice. But when you find your voice, I want you to find your voice with a positive attitude. I want you to not let others define who you are. Find time to discover who you are by reading books, talking to people, taking classes, watching other people, and just plain living. That's what you need to do today. Find your voice. And when you find your voice, young women and young men, you can, in fact, change the world. I want to leave you with a quote by Marion Wright Edelman, who said, "We must not, in trying to think about how we can make a big difference, ignore the small daily difference which we can make over time, that in the long term adds up to big differences that we could not often foresee." Your presence here in this Founders Auditorium tells me that you're going somewhere. I challenge you today, don't stop now. Please take those 7 skill sets that I've outlined for you, tuck them away in your toolkit, and over the course of your next 4 years, think about which one that you will develop and that you will hold most closely to you. I promise that if you would come to the center and help me out, because it's hot in here, that I would quickly get through my message. I had more to say, have a lot of statistics, but I don't need to bore you with that. I want to engage you in conversation. But there's one thing, young women, that I want to say, and Provost Nunez, please excuse me and give me some dispensation here. Young women and young men, but particularly for the sisters, as you climb the ladder of life and your higher rungs to success, please, please do not make it your reputation that you get there on your back. I just said something. Did you hear me? Because there is only one of you, uniquely made and a masterpiece. You have an obligation and a responsibility to be all that you can be. There is no other like you. Celebrate who you are. Enjoy who you are. and develop who you are. But don't let anybody tell you anything that will deter you from your goals, particularly if it means that you have to sacrifice and not stand on what you believe. Don't get there on your back. Thank you so much, young ladies, and God bless you. Hardest challenge getting my degrees is just believing in me, that I could do it. I tell a story about young people when I was going to college. I ran track and thought I was everything that I could be. Applied to a university in my home state that I wanted to go to in Florida and was denied. Said I couldn't get in because I didn't test well on aptitude tests. How many of you don't test well? Raise your hand. Join the club. I didn't test well. But I wrote a letter to the dean, and I said that I have an A+ average at my high school. I run track, I'm in student government, I work with the NAACP, I go to church, I'm in a youth department, and you cannot tell me that one standardized test would determine who I am and where I would go. That dean wrote me a letter back and said, because of your keen use of the King's English, you can come to our university, no provisional status, and we'll give you a full scholarship. But folks, guess what? I said thanks, but no thanks, and went to a historically black college and university, and I am so glad that I did. Because on that college campus, I was able to develop my leadership skills. I had professors who believed in me and who challenged me. And when I was spending all my time doing NAACP work, she says, look, you better get this accounting right now. You need to let some of that stuff go. And guess what I did? I got that accounting. And she is still, her name is Dr. Ruth Harris, my accounting teacher. I still stay in contact with her from undergraduate school. It doesn't matter where you start. I would recommend to any young person of color, start your base at a historically black college and university. From there, you can soar. I've graduated from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. I'll be their commencement speaker May 16th, first alumni to address the graduating class. And also, I've matriculated and graduated with an MBA from Northwestern University, majority Big Ten schools. But I started out at a little Baptist college, Virginia Union University. Doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end. Remember I told you, the end game, it's about the end game. What I would have to say with a man that if you have to have a woman who is beneath you and not equal to you, that something is wrong with you. That you should want a woman who is equal to you, because when you're equally yoked, you challenge her, she challenges you. There is no this or this. Now, we got some domineering sisters as well. Y'all need to pull up on that, because there are roles and times that we need to shift. And it's not going to be a 50-50 every time. Sometimes we got to pull our share, and the other times we doggone sure need the brothers to pull theirs. But we should seek relationships where we ain't too good for the brother, and he ain't too low for us. That's another thing that we have to understand as women. Because when you look around the room, how many sisters I got in the room? Sisters, stand up. Sisters, stand up. Now, who y'all gonna marry? They in jail. All right. So we need to, not all of them, I'm not trying to give a brothers a bad rap. Not all of them in jail, and not all of them are hanging on the corners. But sisters, I'm talking to you. Just because the man wears a suit and tie does not mean that he will love you any more than the brother who wears a uniform. College may not be for everybody, but you gotta have somebody who believes in you, has a sense of value, believe that there's somebody bigger than them. I ain't saying you gotta believe in God, although I do, but you need to have someone who believes that there's somebody else that's controlling what's going on. But then you also have to have someone who has a commitment to give something back to community. That's how we made it in society as a race of black folk in this country. Because we had men who were willing to stand up and be men, and we had sisters who were willing to walk beside them every step of the way. That's what Merle Evers did to the founder of which this university was named, Medgar Evers. That's what it's all about, walking together. Now let me quickly just tell you a story. I was 18 years old, I graduated from college and wanted to do a fellowship at the New York State Conference, New York State Health Department in Albany. Didn't know nobody in New York, but I remembered there was this dynamic woman named Hazel Dukes who moved everything in New York because they named it twice. So I reached out to her and I said, I really want to be in this fellowship. I don't know anybody. Can you help me? She said, let me see what I can do. She made a couple calls. I got into the program. Didn't have any place to stay. But then she made a couple calls. And she made a call to this young lady right here, Dr. Marcella Maxwell, who lived in Prospect Park, West Prospect Park. And I lived like the Fresh Princess of Bel-Air. I had a doorman, chandeliers, and overlooked out of the bedroom windows at the George Washington, the Verrazano Bridge. She accepted me, sight unseen, because somebody else vouched for me. And she said, if Hazel recommends you, then I will take you. She opened up her home to me. How many people do that now? Opened up her home to me and said, whatever you need, I'm here for you. I took that fellowship, worked at Downstate Medical, SUNY College in Brooklyn, under the leadership of Percy Allen. Some of you may know him. But then I had the opportunity to work in the city with the New York City AIDS Department. And then I needed somewhere to live in New York City. And as Providence would have it, I then called up my good friend, Hazel Dukes. I need a place to stay. Wow, did I get a place to stay. I stayed on East 68th Street, where Ambassador Henry Kissinger lived as well, and I saw him walking his dogs in and out the building. Young black sister coming from Prince George's County, Maryland, living big time, West Prospect Park, and then East 68th Street. I say that to say, young people, once you make it, don't forget to remember to turn around and help somebody else make it as well. And that's what these ladies taught me, that it is my responsibility. Because they have helped me, then asked me for a dime. Did I tell y'all I pay rent? Did y'all hear the word rent? I stayed rent-free. But it is now my obligation, and every day of my life I try to pay it forward to another young person. And I got a whole string of young people in the NAACP. I'm in the healthcare field. If you need some advice, sister, I'm going to give you my card as well so that we can talk to each other. That's what's so important. Connect with somebody. It ain't always about what you can give. That's not it. It's about developing relationships and having somebody there when you need it. How many of you have been in a situation when you needed somebody and didn't know who to call? Didn't have nobody to call. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Grab hold of somebody and develop some relationships. If you looked at my high school yearbook, my college yearbook, how many did you, when you were in high school, did you take an aptitude test, or what do you like to do? You like to work with your hands? You like to be outside, inside? Do you like working with numbers? How many of you took that? I took that test, and it was a career skills aptitude, and it said that I would be a lawyer, doctor, or hospital administrator. Those were the three things I was suited for. I said, I don't want to be a doctor. I ain't trying to be in school that long. I don't want to be a lawyer. And I said, wow, I haven't heard about this thing called hospital administration. And so from high school, I started looking at hospital administration, wanting to be a hospital administrator. Got my undergraduate degree, got my graduate degree from George Washington in hospital administration, had the opportunity, staying in Brooklyn, to work at Downstate Medical, and upstate at the State Health Department in New York and Albany. After I was there, I found out that the hours that it takes to be there and be the administrator on call 24/7, that ain't what I wanted to do. But I found a way to find my passion and find my voice. Through my volunteer work with the NAACP, I found a way to make a difference in healthcare, in hospital administration. I work now for a large Catholic healthcare organization. I am now the director of advocacy and public policy. So I'm able to use my advocacy skills, some that I love, and being able to talk and motivate and inspire. But I'm not a hospital administrator. But I'm still pursuing my dreams, doing what I love to do. Two fallacies in life that happens for people. They go after trying to make all the money, and making money is good. But if you go to work every day and you hate it, that's a horrible place to be. Or if you get something that you love and you can't pay your bills, that's the wrong place to be as well. So find something that you like to do, that you're passionate about. Makes you get up in the morning and just want to run on a little further. And then try to make sure that you train yourself, get a good education, so that the work that you do is worthwhile for the people with whom you are doing it for, or go into business for yourself, be an entrepreneur. And that way you find your passion and you find your voice.
Hi, Patsy here again. Did you know that kids take drugs right out of your medicine cabinet? Which is why I've taken all the labels off our prescriptions.
Honey, are these your prescription hormone pills or mine?
You have the orange one. I'm sorry.
Don't be a patsy. Learn a better way at drugfree.org.
I know where. Here, these are. No. Ooh, those are bad. Let me see these.
AmeriCorps Hero. Kathy sat with frustration, looking for a way to make a difference.
I want to help people. I want to make a difference. I want to get things done.
Then she saw something.
Could I be a hero?
She had to apply.
I should give this a try.
A few weeks later, she was accepted into AmeriCorps.
I'm an AmeriCorps member now. My service gear. I look sharp.
Away she went for training.
There she met people who shared her passion, people who wanted to make change, people who joined AmeriCorps.
All these people are heroes too. I'm off to serve.
They painted houses. They made friends. They prepared for disaster. They served people in need. They cleaned beaches. They helped wildlife. Together they served. Together they made a difference.
Together they were heroes.
In AmeriCorps, you can be a hero too.
Join AmeriCorps.
Can I share a little something with you? I told you I work for a Catholic healthcare organization, director of advocacy and public policy. I've been at this organization almost 8 years. For about 5.5 years, I worked as director of system fund development, doing their philanthropy work, helping them raise money. That's not what I wanted to do. But I was in that position, made connections with people I needed to make connections with, and then also showed my organization my value to them for what I really wanted to do. And now I'm in a position that I like and that they appreciate, because I was spinning my wheels at this other gig and wanting to do something different. But that's why I talked to you and said to you young people, it's not where you are now. You've got to do what? Talk about that end game. What do you want to do 5, 10 years from now? What is your passion? What do you want to do? All right, then we need to then surround you and get you some mentors who are doctors and some people that you can talk to in an environment about what they did and what they would recommend for you to do. That's what you need to do. Surround yourself with people who can help you on your path or make recommendations for you. And it's people at your age, folks are expecting you to ask questions. They're expecting you to say, I need help. Can you help me with a job? Can you help me pay my tuition? Can you help me get my books? Can you tell me what is happening the next mile of the way? They expect that. So don't feel that you are bothering them or pestering them. It's about your future, and the future is in your hands. You are the master of your destiny, and there's nobody in this world who can take you off your game unless you allow them.
Meet me at the ocean on a day when the sun is being stingy with the sky. While the sea whispers to the shore of its affairs with the horizon, let them whimper together, asking forgiveness. Even nature sins, and we enjoy their misery. I never understood your sympathy. Untying the silk scarf that's been hanging on your neck, playing tag with the wind to tote the sunset to the other side of the world, leaving your back burnt red, brown, and blood orange. I'm going to have to teach the sun how to treat you right. Set the moon at your bedside while I climb the stars to keep a lookout for your heart. I will fall blindfolded for you, because there is a safety net in your embrace that makes me want to fold myself into your skin during our thunderstorm conversations. Before I partake in your forbidden fruit, I will put on red heels, a dress, and lipstick for you, because we taste so familiar, and I know just how you like me to be dressed for dinner sometimes. Sometimes. With my head propped up against your chest, I reverie about the world and how it must look so beautiful when you're falling in. So God rented out a newly renovated raindrop for us, had it custom condensed and heart-shaped for our soul, with water from the Nile where our mothers used to bathe, tinted with your eyes hazel so the view wouldn't be foreign from the clouds, wallflower with chamomile for wide-awake nights when you wrestle with your dreams, cuddle with me. On our liquid glass floors, laugh at overweight meteors and all their drunken rage. You've seen this stumbling before, except your father didn't stutter step across galaxy just out of your life, and you couldn't manage that planet on your own, so you turned to sky, who confessed, baby girl, Even the stars make shitty friends. You confided in me that when I sleep, you hold me as if I were dying to teach yourself how to love and appreciate a woman before she is gone. That is unnecessary. I promise I will never leave you. Finally, I can understand what an empty universe will do to the psyche. I am grateful for you, for the way your fingerprints cluttered the small of my back, for curiosity of palms, wandering into forbidden territory without permission. We like that. I'm grateful for monsoon season, when it rains for months, forcing light to flee from the sky. We feel our way through the dark. We be torrential rain powerful, never expected to slip on all our wet and fall in. A bed of black satin butterfly wings laying on pillows stuffed with feathers stolen off angel backs. Baby, leave your halo on the nightstand. I just want to get naughty with you.
Hey, folks, one more thing. We want to tell you the power of networking, and when you are in the room, this young lady has Miss Towns, we got something for you.
Let me just share with you that Roslyn Brock, I'm Paula Brown Edmay with the NAACP, and Roslyn Brock believes in young people so very, very, very much. And one of the things that was her passion and in her leadership, she wanted to make sure that young people like you come back to the NAACP, or come to the NAACP. She's committed herself to developing a summit called Leadership 500, where we come together May 21st through the 24th we're going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona this year. We put together a program where young people come together, some a little bit older than you, okay, but certainly bringing you in. We want to offer you a scholarship to come to Leadership 500. Mark your calendar, May 21st through the 24th, full scholarship. We will fly you there. We will put you in the hotel. You will participate in the summit, and we're probably going to put you on program because you can teach us a thing or two. Okay, thank you so much.
My car! Let me get that money, man. What are you doing? Got you. Give me stuff. Yo, what are you doing?
Good evening. Just pretend I'm not here.
Yo, can I help you?
Are you selling drugs?
There's a better way to find information about drugs, so you can talk to your kids. Get the tools at drugfree.org from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
This has been an incredible program. You have been wonderful audience. You have sunk it all in. I want to thank Mrs. Brock for those enlightening, inspirational words. I want to thank our distinguished performer, Miss Kiara Towns. I want to thank our special guests who are here, the Honorable Hazel Dukes, our own Dr. Marcella, Dean Marcella Emerita Maxwell, and the ladies from the NAACP. You have learned a lot. And I can tell you that even though she was speaking to the future, when she looked back at me, I wrote down those 7 words, those 7 directions, because every day is the first day of your lives. Thank you for being here.